I'm Steve Lanford. We're joined here with Chuck Potter from Hoof Cinch. Chuck and I have been doing this and partner up with the Hoof Cinch, and he's been part of us for insuring the saddle for almost a decade now.
It's been a while.
So neat thing with Chuck and the Hoof Cinch is we've spent a lot of time educating the people, and right now we're talking about a little bit of the pushback that Chuck gets from other people, other professionals, other farriers that are either not familiar with it, or, and here's one, and I'm just going to come flat off and say, because I've talked with a bunch of farriers that I've met down the road, I get this response: it's not going to work. And how I address that, and not trying to be confrontational, is saying, well, tell me why it didn't work. Give me one case in which it didn't work, and then I could shut my mouth. But it's usually, they can't cite a case that didn't work.
No, they've never used it.
And they've never used it, but they're just saying, and I love this one, it reminds me of when I was a little child and I would tell my mom, because. And my mom would tell me, because is not an answer. So when you have that pushback from other professionals, especially, and I think the biggest one is the blood flow issue.
Sure.
Let's address that a little bit.
We hear that from all parts of the industry, though.
Okay.
And it's not just the farriers.
Right.
Horse owners, trainers, riders, it's like, I had one client, she was on a horse board, and somebody had come on from Canada onto the board and said, hey, has anybody heard of this Hoof Cinch? And I'm her farrier. She said,
Right.
hey, I know the guy who invented it.
Right.
And some of the other people came out, oh, no, that'll kill your horse.
Right.
And when she asked how, they left.
Of course they did.
There was no response because
Right.
it's not physical. It cannot hurt your horse. The blood flow in this, we use this leg here.
Okay.
And so you get your digital arteries that are entering in the backside of the foot.
Okay.
Okay. And then they break off into several branches of
Right.
arteries in there. So you got one feeding the frog, one feeding the coronary band, one feeding the apex, and then you have the terminal arch inside the coffin bone. And so all these arteries are going in, and they're coming in from two different directions. So even if you were to cut off one side, the entire foot is still getting fed from the other side.
Okay.
Okay, that was if it was even possible to restrict blood flow anywhere with
And it's
this.
not.
But it's not.
Okay.
Because you actually have two different methods for the blood to come into the foot and to circulate.
Okay.
And so if you completely encased the foot, clamped it down, put a band all the way around.
Like a tourniquet.
Yeah,
Right.
casting, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Then it's possible to slightly restrict because you've stopped all movement. This doesn't stop anything.
So the function of the hoof, so when the hoof strikes the ground and the hoof wall flares, the hoof cinch is still allowing that movement to happen.
Exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
we've not stopped any of that function. The only thing we've done is increase stability in the front part of the foot. And I think that's a lot of the wording initially we use, stabilize and put
Right,
pressure.
right.
That kind of scared people.
Right.
And but it's actually just stabilizing.
Okay.
That flexure that we've created by the bone rotating away.
Okay. All right. So hopefully this is giving you a little bit of information to make a right decision and help your horse overcome the founder or laminitis episode that they're having.